The NBA has a long history of predicting its next stars and then being horribly wrong. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was picked 11th. Giannis went 15th. Jokic was a second-rounder taken during a Taco Bell ad. And now, pick number 16 of the 2023 draft, Keyonte George is showing us just how wrong scouts can be. Again. In the last 9 games, Keyonte is averaging 30.8 points, 7 assists, and 5.2 rebounds per game, not only spiking him into All-Star consideration, but the best part, Keyonte George just turned 22 years old. This is not just a hot start. The signs for this explosion have been in front of our faces before Keyonte ever stepped onto an NBA court. So our question today is, how did the league mess up this badly? Because you might be thinking, a 9-game stretch is nice. But how about Keyonte's full season numbers? Well, here he is in year 3, compared to year 3 of Shai, Steph, Russ, and Harden. As we can see, Keyonte George is leading this group in scoring, 2nd in assists, and 3rd in rebounds. Are we in a more fast-paced era? Yes. But we have to admit Keyonte's numbers next to 4 MVPs look absurdly impressive, especially when we consider that when players take the leap. There are 3 noticeable changes we see as they rise to stardom. Change number 1, shooting efficiency. In his first 2 seasons, Keyonte George shot under 40% from the field. Not good. He was seen as an inefficient chucker. But now, he's gliding to the rim, draining threes from everywhere, moving off the ball, and his true shooting percentage of 61.3% is only slightly behind Wemby, and actually better than Luka Doncic. Now that's not saying he is Luka. What it is saying is that Keyonte is now producing at a level where the Jazz feel comfortable building their entire offense around him. So with all these big-name comparisons on the table, what exactly scared teams into letting Keyonte slip to pick number 16? Well, in high school, Keyonte was a top 10 recruit who had the chance to be a top 5 pick if he produced. At Baylor, on the surface, the talent to be a future All-Star seemed to be there. When Keyonte was in the zone, he was dropping 20 with ease. His shot-making looked different. He was named Big 12 Rookie of the Year, but leaving college, 2 massive problems were plaguing him. First, scouts labeled him as a potential inefficient gunner. Keyonte could get any shot he wanted. He was creative, but he made just 37.6% of his shots in college. A big-time red flag. Second, he averaged just 2.8 assists per game. His natural position was shooting guard. But in the NBA, that didn't look like it would work. Scouts questioned his size. They questioned if he could transition over to point guard. The fear wasn't can he score? It was, can he run an NBA offense if he's never run one before? And as we know, if teams don't know what position you're going to play, that can be an NBA draft death sentence. Only for Keyonte George, it turned out that the biggest flaw scouts saw in him would soon become his biggest strength. Transition to sponsorship segment. But before we continue, I'll admit, I'm always looking for the best ticket prices for NBA games, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. SeatGeek has you covered with the best ticket prices possible. And right now, we are at the peak of sports NFL, college football. The NBA is back. You can even get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek. There are over 70,000 events listed, concerts, sports, you name it. I've been buying NBA tickets from SeatGeek forever. I really love their deal score feature, a scale of 1 to 10 on how great of a deal you're getting on that ticket. And of course, SeatGeek has us covered. I have a code for you. Use OOPS10 for 10% off your next order. That's 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek. So make sure to click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added. That's an absolute no-brainer. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Now, back to it. After the 2023 draft, Keyonte George had a very interesting phone lock screen. Not a celebration picture, but a list. As we can see, Keyonte was reminding himself of the weaknesses scouts were judging him by. athleticism, three-point consistency, shot selection, passing/turnovers. Yep, it turned out falling in the draft was the best thing that could have ever happened to him, because it lit a fire in him. Now, I mentioned before, when a player takes a leap, we see three noticeable changes. Change 1 was efficiency. But now, let's talk about change 2. Keyonte's playmaking. He was a shooting guard his entire life. But this season, Keyonte George is already 13th in the NBA in assists per game with 6.8. He's doing what scouts never believed he could do, running an offense. And we've seen his assist numbers noticeably improve year after year. Already great. But get this, the most assists per game Kyrie Irving has had in a season was 6.9. For Shy, that career high is this season with 6.4. The point here, score-first guards aren't supposed to take this much of a leap in playmaking. But Keyonte is overperforming. He's proving through tireless work ethic and film study that you can grow into a point guard if the baseline ability is there. We see this in the game tape against the Pistons. The defense jumps out on a three-point attempt, and instead of throwing up a tough shot, Keyonte feeds Nurkins for an easy layup. This only works because on this pick and roll, Keyonte shows he's more than willing to step into that three and knock it down. Now, on a similar play, later, Keyonte is patient. He sees Lowry's defender help, hits him with a fake pass, and feeds Lowry for an open three. This is the kind of progression you want to see from a player who isn't a natural point guard. And now, down 3 late, Keyonte gets crowded. He does have a shot, but instead, he finds the more open corner shooter. The point here is, Keyonte's scoring is what sets him apart. But because he's a threat from anywhere, just making the right play unlocks his team's offense to its full potential. But speaking of scoring, tie game, shot clock off. Gotta get a good one here. Jazz can win with a bucket. Clip. Keyonte splits in the paint. Goshed it. Keyonte with 2.1 to play. And this game winner shows us the third change in Keyonte's play, the most impressive change. He's becoming immune to pressure. If you're going to be the best player, the best scorer on any team, your name will be at the top of the scouting report. That means you need to score in any situation against the other team's best defender, which makes what Keyonte is doing that much more impressive. Everywhere on the stat sheet, he's improving. He's taking the ball to the rim with so much more confidence. He's making over 3 more free throws a game this year, ranking him 7th in the league in free throws made per game. And he's shooting over 90% from the line. But it gets better. His three-point shooting is up, and so is his percentage at the rim. This season, Keyonte is shooting 75.6% at the basket, compared to last year's 62.7%. Defenses are surrounding him. They're treating him like a star. But it doesn't matter. He's making shots with hands in his face anyway. At this point, I really think we're looking at an early rise to stardom. Everywhere we look, we see a real origin story of a man who's going to make his mark on this league. The only question is, what is Keyonte George's limit? And there we have it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, I really think you're going to like the videos on your screen now. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day. Cue that.